set up the bot in here and get our Discord posted. Alright. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and this is... I pretty much... got thrown out. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is September 21st, and this is the September 21st, not TextQuest Devstream. I don't know why I can't talk today. Anyway, today we are going to be working on some 2D stuff, so we're going to be taking a break from TextQuest to finish up some of the stuff that I've been messing around with in this 2D functionality. Specifically, we are going to be setting up a couple of animations for sprite animations if we want. Actually, I can go ahead and show you. So last time that we did this dev stream, it was about 2-3 weeks ago, I think. I was messing around with layering and getting sprite animations to work, as well as tile animations. So you can see here that we have our curtains are animating via this tile set. And we have some nice little goo animations going on here, although I think I messed up the green one because it's not quite as full-bodied as our blue one over here. I think I accidentally left one frame in the middle that shouldn't be there. In any case, so we're going to go ahead and mess around with some more animation stuff to start. But after that, what we're going to do, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, is... So this whole 2D endeavor is basically because a developer friend of mine made a 2D art pack on itch.io, and I think one of the things we're going to try to do is recreate this map, just as an example tile set to show that you can actually tile this stuff. We could possibly get this far, however, this particular... Actually, I think we can get all this set up the way that it is here. But we don't have any characters set up yet, which might be something that we tackle. There are a lot of characters, and I tend to be a little bit slower on the characters than I am with regular tiles, so I'm a little more hesitant for that. But we'll see what that if that pans out. We also have some problems with the doors and these sun icons right now. I have not set up that sprite sheet, mostly because it's not quite as squarely laid out as the other one, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to do. In any case, so I would like to basically, create this overlay map, just to make sure that we have all of our sort of ducks in a row as far as getting the tile set up, or tile map set up. I do have the tile map for the grasslands set up. We will also, once we start doing that, I will port all of that information using our JSON tool to basically rapidly set up the winter and desert variations on that map. This is not something that we have to worry about. This is another map that we could potentially build, but probably won't for now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hop back in Unity here. I'm going to stop playing. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Goo Green, which is a... Oh, we got a null reference. That's interesting. This is an override animator controller, which overrides the Goo Blue animator controller. This is probably going to be how I set up a lot of the animator controllers for most of the assets. There's no real reason for me to set up multiple animator controllers when I can just set up one and have others kind of override those animations, especially on things that are using the exact same animations. So let's go ahead and go over here to animation. We're going to open this up so it's easier to see. And then we're going to click over to here. We're going to try to line these up a little bit better. Okay. So it looks like we have the first two are correct, and then the second one needs to move over to here a little bit. Good there, and there. Okay, so this one needs to go to 0.35, right about there. And then we have right about here. And then right about here. Alright. So now, in theory, those should be the exact same, I think. Those seem to So let's go ahead. I'm gonna hit play on the scene, and now those animations should play in perfect sync. There we go. Nice. All right. So we have one more. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this. I'm gonna call this red. What is up with this null reference exception? I don't know what that is. It looks like an internal Unity one, though, which seems to be a problem. Well, we'll just let that keep clearing, I guess, for now. So I'm going to go ahead and call this goo red idle. And I don't actually remember. Let's go to the animator, or I guess the animation. I don't think this lets me actually ping that, does it? Nope. Of course not. Okay, so we're going to go over here to characters, I believe. Small monsters, I think? Yeah, and then goo. So this is our goo. All we're basically going to do is just need to drag these in. So I'm going to go to goo red idle. And I think these are all in order. You're not going to let me do that, are you? I wonder why it won't let me drag these in. Fine. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to set this up to be goo red. Come back up here. We'll assign goo red. Put that up there. All right. So now I think I can do this, which is a bit annoying, but hey, whatever. So we're going to kind of do these in order. Boom. Six, 7, 8, and then I think we just looped back around to 1, I believe. Yeah, like that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to stop recording. And then I'm going to put goo red. Oops, wrong thing. Just put that over here. On top of you, apparently. All right, let's go ahead and hit play. They should all be synced up. Looks good. All right. I guess I'll also go ahead and set up red as the default sprite for it. Okay. And then I'm going to need to make these prefabs at some point. Let's go ahead and close this. Close this. Oh man, I got too many things. Close all these things. All right, so we have animations. Let's go ahead and create folder prefabs. All right, and this is going to be folder characters create folder goo, and we're just going to go ahead and drag these 3. I can't do them multiple times. So one at a time it is. All right, so pretty straightforward. Nothing really spectacular. All right. So let's go ahead and now I'm going to take a look at some of the other characters that we're setting up. Oh yes, and we are going to be doing art today, of course. Let's see. Man, that null reference error is really annoying. I hate that keeps happening. I also don't really know why it keeps happening, because it looks like it's the input system, but I don't even think I have. Maybe I have the new custom input system in there. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and pop back over to art, side view adventure. We go to characters. We have small monsters. We also have checker face. Oh my. So we have the goo. We don't have the bats set up. We have the pumpkin head. So we can probably do the pumpkin head real quick. And let's go ahead and I'm just gonna drag this in here. Call this pumpkin head blue. We're gonna apply an animator to this. We're gonna basically do the same thing we did up here. So we're gonna create folder. Call this pumpkin head. I guess we'll keep that as. Yeah, it's fine. You know, I kind of wonder. Nah, it's all right. Naming conventions are best enforced. I was debating whether I should name this like pumpkin space head parentheses blue as opposed to like underscore, similar to what these are. But you know, it's. I guess I would make it more searchable, so I should probably go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and say select here. Like that. Okay. And then I can go ahead and say overrides. Oh, really? There aren't any? It doesn't register the name as a difference. That's pretty funny. I guess it weirdly makes sense, but okay. All right. So we're going to set up Pumpkinhead, and then I think we're going to switch over to doing a little bit of, well, painting. And then after that, I'm going to jump over and try some weird tile creations to do some custom tile setups. That's going to be really interesting if I have everything set up properly. Actually, before I do that, go here to Package Manager. Right. So I have the addressable system installed. We might try to make an addressable tile set, which is going to be very interesting. Let's go ahead and update this before I forget. Speaking of the package manager, I've been looking into how to do custom package manager things, and it is easier than you'd think, but harder than I'd like. They do seem to have a pseudo standard for how to structure those things, but it is, oh boy, it is a challenge. Okay, what's going on here? You frozen or are you compiling? Okay, there we go. I think we're good for now. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our Pumpkinhead blue. We're going to come up to here. I'm going to say blue. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and follow the same conventions. So we're going to say create animator controller, which I always forget. So say animator controller. We're going to call this Pumpkinhead underscore blue. All right, then we're going to go ahead and assign that. Kabam! I'm going to come over here to animation. I'm going to drag this right. Oh my. Oh, right. Before I forget, I need to make this 16. There we go. So it's very important that all of the pixels per units be 16, because if they are not, then they're not going to scale correctly with the tiles. So they all need to be 16 pixels per unit. And all that means is that, well, it says it right on the tin, but for every 16 pixels in the sprite, that is 1 unit of Unity's measurement system, which is about a meter. So we're going to put this like right here. And you can see that this almost perfectly fills up that space pretty well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say... Really? Are you not going to let me create one? Why not? Oh, right. All right, so I'm just going to call this, what? Pumpkinhead Blue idle. Sure. Why not? All right. So we're going to have 4 that we need to do here. Well, this is very easy. Are these like 2 separate animations, actually? So this is that animation. It's a little difficult to tell. I think it just hard snaps back, which means that we're gonna want to do something like. Well, I guess let's just see what it looks like. Okay, let's stretch them out. So this is gonna be 1. It's gonna be 4, 5. Ooh, 2, 5. Yeah. Actually, that's not quite right. So this should be something like this. That's still not right. It should actually be this. What's the difference between these two? Okay, it is there. Oh, that's why. It's because it's terminating right there. Oh, you're so annoying. Okay, so we're gonna put you back here. So there we go. That's what we want to do. All right, pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Minus all those confusions. When we get past that, it was very, very straightforward. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and drag this right up to here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and create. Right-click, create animator. Oops, actually, we're gonna do a folder first, and we're gonna say this red, I think, or orange. We'll do orange. Go down the line. I think the next one is red, though. Yeah. All right, so we're going to create animator override controller. We're going to call this pumpkin head orange. Okay. We're going to give it pumpkin head blue. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this. Let's fudge this to 3 for now. Orange. Okay, we're going to put you right there. Put you right there. I'm going to go ahead and say create. Animation. I call this pumpkin head. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to duplicate this. Move this down to here. I'm going to call this one pumpkin head orange idle. Boom. And that's going to let me just do this real quick. So, of course not. Record this. Put you here. I need you at the end as well. Followed by 2. Then 3. And then 4. Boom. Okay. Pretty straightforward. All right then, last thing is just going to be red. Duplicate this, I'm going to call this red. red. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing. Let's go ahead and go over here, pumpkin head red, and then we're going to go ahead and duplicate you, move you over to here. We're going to call you pumpkin head red. Sign pumpkin head red, and then let's go ahead and edit that. So red 1. 2, red 3, and red 4. Alright, and then we'll just drag this in. Alright, so now if we go ahead and play, we should see all of that. All of those juicy animations going on. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Out of sheer amusement for myself. Just want to see them all hop in unison. Alright then, that seems to work pretty well. So let's go ahead and stop playing. I am going to make these order and layer of 0 so that they are at their default layer. We're going to go ahead and put these in characters, create folder, pumpkin head. Okay, we're going to do this for all of them. Alright. Pretty straightforward. And there are other characters that we could animate real quick. We still have the checker face and the bat, but honestly, that's We've done some decent animation work for now. Let's go ahead and move on to tile sets. Yes. What's the difference here? Oh, it's the number of eyes. Okay. I got you. I don't know what you are. Steps, maybe? Yes? That would seem to be correct. Okay. So, let's go ahead and I'm going to open up a new scene. Come down to here. This is a sample scene, I think. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and make a new scene. We are going to save this, and I'm going to call this overhead example. Tile, or how about this? Tile map overhead. Sure. All right. So we're in here. We're going to go ahead and create a 2D object. We're going to make a tile map. It's going to be a grid. I'm going to call this tile map background. Background, apparently. Background. This is going to be order and layer. I think we want this to be negative. We'll be safe. We'll do -5. I'm going to go in increments of 5 instead of increments of 1, just so that I can have some breathing room between them. It doesn't really matter as long as the numbers are larger or smaller. If they are equal by default, they will create problems. But for now, I think we can go ahead and say, I wonder if you'll let me do this. Cool. So right-clicking directly on a grid lets it. So we're going to call this midground. That's going to be at 0. And we're going to go ahead and say create 2D object, tile map, foreground. And we're going to make that 5 in the layer. Okay. So you can see that we have all of these. We're going to go to our background first. I'm going to go over to, oh, right, I haven't created a thing for this yet. So we're going to go to tiles. Palace. I'm going to collapse this and this. And I think we want to go up to here, backgrounds and overhead. All right, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and set up our tools. So I'm going to go to Sprite Mapper. I'm going to drag in grass. There are a lot of sprites in this, and I've set up all the names for them finally. So we want to replace the word grass. Oops, sorry, the word grass. And I think that's really all we need. So let's go ahead and say export sprite JSON. I'm going to just dump it out into the root, and we'll be fine. And then I'm going to go over here to import. We are going to do a replacement names. We're going to say it's going to be sand. We're going to drag in sand here. We're going to pull in grass sprites. And I don't think we need to do any sort of offsets, so we should be good. All right, so as you can see here, sand does have different things set up. I think this is from an earlier test. You can see that we had the sand. But now with all this, it should import everything. So we're going to go ahead and say this, grass sprites. That is fine. And there we go. With that, all of our sprite settings have been moved over, which is pretty convenient. Let's go ahead and I'm going to pump this to 16 pixels per unit. Pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and go into the sprite editor just so that we can verify everything and that things aren't being weird. So we got all of our overlapping going on just fine. We got our mountains, which upon looking at it, it's kind of funny, but a lot of these are very similar to the ones in the grass. So you probably wouldn't really need them, but still. So this is looking pretty good here. Sand mountains. I think the only weird ones were things like this. Yeah, because it's sand gate. It's sand structures sand gate instead of sand structures water deep and water gate. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do the same for our winter or our snow just to kind of have fun with that. So drag that in right here, and I'm just going to replace this with snow. And snow, you can see, has not been set up at all. Let's go ahead and apply this real quick. All right, let's go say import JSON. Bam, and bam. All right, so that is correct. Let's go ahead and say full rect and hit apply. All right, and we want them to be point filter. Cool. So that's pretty much all we need to do there. But now we need to create tiles for this. So I'm going to go ahead and say tiles, create folder. We'll call this overhead. That's not going to be the next folder, but I do want that to be there. Backgrounds. There we go. Backgrounds. All right, and this is where things are going to get fun. So I'm going to go ahead and say create new palette. I'm going to call this grass. Ugh. Overhead. Grass. I guess that works. Let's go ahead and say create. We're going to go to not Zelda 2, or not Zelda, tiles, backgrounds, overhead. We're going to create a folder. We're going to call this grass. Okay, so you can see that that has now been created here. I'm going to create folder tiles. All right, and now I'm just going to do this. This is going to be a giant thing. Not Zelda 2, tiles, backgrounds, overhead, grass, tiles. This is probably going to take a little bit, because as you can see, there's 534 sprites there. It took me hours to get through that entire texture. But That's the nice thing about our tool, right? Is that you only need to do that setup once, and then after that you can export and rename things at will, which is very nice. Uh, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder. Um, so something I did off air was I experimented with setting up preferences. And in 2019, preferences are set up a little bit differently, which is interesting. All right, this is our palette. Pretty nice. So for example, if I go up here to, well, actually, I guess it's just going to be under project settings. Oh no, preferences. There we go. So there's a Sleepy Owl tab, and there's an animation speed for our tiles. That just lets us speed up tile previews for or animation previews for animated tiles. To give you a quick showdown on that, let's go down to tests. I think, yeah, there we go. So this is an animation preview window that I have set up for the animated tile. And if I wanted to, I can increase the speed to like 8. And you'll see that it starts going much faster. I feel like I should have rave music on. So we're going to do 1 tile a second. That's what that translates to, number of frames per second. I could probably add, so I think if we open up this grass underscore sprites, I believe it's a flattened JSON blob. No, I made it pretty. Okay. I might. Well, you know what? I guess it's fine. I made it pretty just because that's easier for humans to read. And I was wondering if maybe I should have an option for it to be pretty print or not. But honestly, it's not that big. Although I hate that in 2019 apparently they took away previews for text. So, oh geez, it's actually a third of a megabyte. I don't know. I think it's fine just to leave it as a static, always pretty printed thing. I guess that makes it more human readable. I was debating if I should have it by default be not pretty printed, but then have an option in here that you could turn that on. But it's okay. It's probably best that it stays just like that. Okay, so we have our palette set up, and we now have our tons and tons of tiles created for this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this. So we're going to try to recreate this. I'm going to drag this back over to my left monitor, though, so that I can more easily see that. So let's go ahead and get started on our background. This is going to be interesting. So, oh boy, there is going to be a lot of tiles on this. I am not 100% sure what the best place to start at would be, but I guess it would be the bottom left. Again, keep in mind this is what we're working with. I would normally try to put the origin right about here, but it might make more sense for it to be at one of the pivots or at one of the corners. It's either going to be top left or bottom left. Top left would probably be easier for me, I guess, so we'll go up there first. All right, so to do that, we're going to want to have this at our top. And we're going to go ahead and this is going to be very difficult to approximate. Let's go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there. And then I think we want 1, 2, 3. So this is actually 4. So we want this to be over 1. All right. We're going to put this in here. So and then we have Now, this might actually be something that would be nice if I had a smart tile set up, but I have not created a smart tile system yet. It is a concept that exists in the 2D extras, but I would prefer to actually make my own. Like always, because I'm a masochist, I guess. Um, I painted all that on the background. Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and move this up. We're going to rename these. So that's going to be 0. And you're going to be called the background now. Okay. Very simple. Oh man, we're going to have another tile set actually. So we're going to have to call this 2D tiles, tile map. I'm just going to call this roads. Tile map. Or paths, I guess. That's going to be in order of -10. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to our background. What are you doing, cat? Yes, I see you. Okay, so we're going to go to background. Background is going to be the layer that we paint grass and such on. So let's go ahead and I want to grab, I think it's this. So we're going to go ahead and go to background. It would be nice if it highlighted what you had set up. Very convenient. Okay, so I don't want to just paint along the edges here. I do need to paint behind them. Otherwise, there will be little pixel gaps here. So we're going to go ahead and paint this. Okay. Trying to get this set up correctly. Oh man, doing one-to-one paint jobs is going to be very difficult, I think. So I'm trying to think what I want to set you up. So I believe that these are all just one length away. Okay. And then we're going to need to come over here and paint our paths, which goes all the way down until we get to this point, which will then curve, which is it's somewhere over here. Am I insane? Is there no curve? Oh, that might be a thing. Huh. Okay. Really? Huh. That's kind of funny. So I guess the sprites for the corners on the path actually weren't in that sprite. So like none of these exist. Whoops. Huh. All right. Well, that's a fine how you do. Yeah, it looks like they would actually be right about here, kind of. Oh wait, no, I'm blind. I'm terribly blind. Terrible. Terribleness on my part. Okay then. How embarrassing. So let's go ahead and we're going to paint. Zoom out a little bit. You know what would probably be good is if I put like a little window saying this is what I'm trying to paint. Let's try that real quick, actually. Oops. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's see if I can get this to pop up the way I want it to. See how good you are, Lightbox. Oh no, there's a minimum size. Uh, eh, eh. Well, that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this up real quick. Hold on. Give me a second. I need to add a... Oh, that's actually a better way of doing that, isn't that? So let's do that real quick. Example. Give me... not the Epic Games. Give me a second. I'm going to go to image, add an existing... Oh, wait, no, we're going to create a new... okay. Browse to that file real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and say that. That's a bit big. So we're going to go ahead and put that, I guess, over here. Kind of show you what I'm painting. Put it like right here-ish. All right, so I will keep that on stream for a second while I work with this. And we're going to go ahead and let me pop back over to here. All right. So I think we have some more pretty nice flatness going on here. And then we have, looks like shallow water. Yes, okay. So for that, we're going to need a left side. Yes, cat, I see you. What are you doing? All right, so we're going to go ahead and paint that, and then we need a bottom left corner right about there. And then we have another one of those right about there, followed by that and that. And we need this again. I think I need you right there. All right, looking good. And then we want empty. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's go ahead and get these set up. We need an empty to go, I think, at least to here. So it looks like... Okay, so I think we want a top one right here, which means that we actually want this to be a top corner right there. And then we want a top corner right here. Oh, actually, yeah, that should be there. And then we're going to have a right corner right here. Oh man, this is super hard to get everything right. So we need another top corner. Not there. Right here. And we're going to want another top corner right. Is that right? That can't be right. Hold on. Right. So we have this corner here, followed by here again, then followed by here, and here, bam. And then, paint this, And I know that there are trees and such. We'll come back for the accents later. I'm going to do like a flat coloring to start. Okay, so we have here, and then here, and then we should have one more here, which we can probably put as like right there. Let's go ahead, and we're going to want a top. That's going to go here. We need another corner piece right about there. Actually, this is going to be a top and bottom, isn't it? Right there. And this is going to be a top corner, bottom left. Right. It's somewhere around here. It's going to be a weird one. Here we are. No, it's almost correct, but that's not quite right. Solid bottom. Here we are. Man, finding the right ones is very difficult. Okay, and then we need a solid bottom one right there. Flah. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna fill these all in right there. Let's go ahead and fill in our paths now because we should be able to more easily calculate those. So I think we go until here, and then this is our first corner. So we're gonna put you there, followed by you, and then we have more of our path. Actually, we have one of our paths until we get to the T. And then we're going to have some more path for a while. That is somewhat difficult to tell exactly, but I think that's 4. So let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So we're going to hop back to our paths. We're going to have one more horizontal, and then we're going to have a corner, and then some verticality for a while. Actually, you are going to be a corner. 1, 2, 3. Yes, so this is the third one. Whew! Okay, and then we're actually going to need another path right about there. Man, it is actually kind of difficult to match tile set for tile set. Oh, man. Alright, so now let's go ahead and fill in our paths real quick. So I'm going to switch over to paths. I like that it pings it, but it doesn't select it. Alright, paths are going to be pretty easy. We're just going to go ahead and like... Alright, that's pretty much all we got to do for the paths. Obviously, that's not the entirety of the path. But that is enough for us to get the gist of the top left. Let's go ahead and set up some mountains real quick. This is going to be fun. So we're going to switch over to mid-ground on these because we don't want to paint over the backgrounds. So this is going to be here, here. Excuse me. And then we're going to have one here, followed by here, and then have one here. And then we're going to need one. Nope, I already got that one. Here. One here. Then we're going to want one here. And we need one more here. And we want one more mountain range here. Okay. So that is the mountain range in the middle of the map there. I wonder if I can... if I could selectively zoom in here. The answer is no. That would be nice, but sadly I cannot. Alright, so I'm just going to keep that right there for now. Alright, let's go back to here. And so the next thing I'm going to want to set up is a couple of one-off mountains. I think we got one. Our rubble kind of here, followed by here and here. And we get some real quick mountain there. Pretty straightforward. We have a single mountain here. And then we have right here, single mountain. Then we have a mountain cluster, one over from it. I think that's correct. Actually, before I do that one, let's go ahead and switch over to the let's go to the background again. And I'm going to paint some grass. First, we're going to get our connections going. So, swoop. That goes to there. And then we need some grass around here. So we're going to need here all the way through mountain ranges. Across here. Way over to here. This is very difficult to position correctly. All right. So that means that we can actually just kind of, oh, shoot. Flood fill this. Okay, and I think we can probably do that. Let's go ahead and switch to, that's probably okay. So let's go ahead and pop back over here. Just gonna fill this in a little bit. All right. Let's get the mountains to the north set up. So we're going to switch over to our midground for those. I'm going to pop this right here, because that's where it goes. And then we are going to want to go to here. Right directly south is where these clusters are. Okay, pretty good. And then we're going to need a mountain here, some rubble here, and here, and then 3 mountains right here. Some more rubble right here. And I don't recognize that one. Huh. That looks like it's the caves, kind of. So there's a icon above the fortress. Ooh, hit my mic. Sorry. There's an icon above the fortress to the right of the path that I don't know what that sprite is. I don't. Oh, here it is. It's a cave. Right there. Just trying to figure out what it was. That's gonna go. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so I think that's all of the mountains directly over here. Let's go ahead and switch over to our background. Switch over to here. I'm just gonna fill this all in for now. Do. All right. And actually, we can start painting that pit, which is going to start right about frack. Did I miscount? Okay, I must have miscounted somewhere. So the pit starts like here, right above this bit of rubble, but it looks like there's 2 mountains to the left of that. Did I put you too far? No. No, that's correct. Oh, what happened here? I must have made this too shallow. So this should go. Yeah, I put these all one to the left. Okay, so I gotta move those over. Can I do that? Are you gonna let me? No. Ugh. Nope. Although, that's pretty funny. Can I not? Can I really not? What's the point of a move tool? Move selection with active brush. I don't understand. Hold on. Let's see. Let's say tile map move tool. Is this only for moving things in the palette itself? Control plus paint tool to select a group of tiles. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so do I need to select? Okay. Go to mid-ground. So I'm going to select and then move. Blah! That's a bit of a weird workflow. Okay. So I have to like select this, then move it over. Whatever. So we're going to switch this back to background. I'm just going to grab, like, no, this is a little awkward. Oh, man, really? Whatever. So I'm just going to do it's fine. We're just going to move this over. Okay. It's the mid-ground still. Right. Switch this over to background. Switch. Grab all of you. Oh my god. This is going to kill. This is going to murder me. Okay. There we are. Okay. Blah. Let's go ahead and grab this again. Now we're going to repaint some of this. So we need a bottom right there. We need some fill right there. Let's go ahead and while we're down here, might as well add in 1, 2, and then we need some roundings. And that's going to go for a while, although I'm not exactly sure how far. Okay. Please tell me I'm still in the background. Good. Oh man, it's gonna really take me a while to get used to the active tile map concept. I really do wish that it selected or highlighted the background or the tile map that you're painting on. That would be a really nice usability feature. Like even if it just put a little icon here, that would help a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over. We're gonna paint some of these. Paint. We can probably erase these ones. I don't think we need them. Go ahead and paint. Paint all of these. So if I had to guess, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 tiles long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn, I'm good. And that's gonna put this somewhere right about here, which means we need you. Actually, we need you. Nope. Actually, we need this. Okay. And then I think we have one more. here, followed by here, followed by here, and then here. Whew, this is somewhat difficult to map correctly. Okay. You and you. All right. So I'm getting up into the top right of the map now. I'm going to go ahead and actually fill in these areas. So that is the actual top of the map. We don't need to go much or any farther than that. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish up our boundary here. So this needs to be a corner piece like here. Then a bottom piece, and then we need you here. You here, and then we need to go left. Left for a while. It's going to be very hard to tell exactly where to stop, so it's probably better if we paint from the bottom up. So right here. Okay. So that's going to be a tad difficult for me to know exactly where to stop. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 from the bottom here. So 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay. So this we actually want to there. We actually want to be like that, and then we're gonna have another left piece right here, and then we need a top corner and a top corner like that, and then we want a top piece like that. Boom, 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 followed by there. Whew. All right. So that's our center area. Let's go ahead and okay, good. I was gonna say make sure I painted those photos or the trees on the midground. Let's go ahead, and we're pretty good from there as far as the map goes. I think this is the right extent of the map. So right here, right? Yeah. All right. So that's that. All right. Coming along, coming along. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to switch over to go ahead and paint all of this. So we're going to go ahead and fill this area in. That one we don't need to fill in. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to save because I haven't done that in a while. Then we're going to go ahead and paint here. We're still in the background. Good. Fill that in. The next thing I think is going to be a top piece right there, followed by a corner piece. Right. Is that right? No. There we go. So this is going to be a bottom piece right about there, and then we need a corner piece right about there. And we need a bottom piece right about there. Trying to get this exactly correct, which is highly difficult. I'm going to put you here. And then we have a bit of a weird spot. I think it's like there. And I think we corner piece. Do another corner piece. Another corner piece. And a far right piece. Corner piece. Corner piece. Corner piece. Do. Corner piece. Corner piece. Left. And then bottom right. Top right. Top right, top left, with top, and fill. Right, there's our pit there in the middle. Looking pretty good. Let's see. Did I miscount? No, you definitely should be there. Because this is too wide, this should be 2. Which means that this is either too small, or I moved it over too far to the right. Which is a tad embarrassing, but is entirely possible. Oh, right, this should be 4, which means... Wait, what? No, this actually should be 3. I miscounted. I moved this too far to the right. I gotta move these in. Bleh. Well, at least that's not too terrible. Okay. That means I can erase this entire far right line. And before I forget, because I almost didn't notice it, this should actually be a rope up at the top there. Okay. So we're going to go over here to select, and we want to move all of this over by 1. Okay. And we're going to move all of this over by 1. Okay. That was a relatively harmless one to fix. Alright, so let's go ahead and paint. Still on our background layer, which is good. We're just going to go ahead and just... Alright, we're going to go ahead and fill all of this. Okay. So now, we're going to go up here. This is going to go into the midground. I'm going to start painting the fortress here. These are the rounded ones, so we're going to want this. In our corner right here. We have a bit of a gap for our breakages, which I think is going to be this. So I'm going to put you here, also here and here, and then also here. Nope, that one's different. That one's this one. And then we're going to go ahead and have our ground right here and here. And then we're going to do, it looks like this. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this. So I want you to go there. And then we have here up at the top by you, and then boom. Boom, boom, kaboom, followed by boom. All right, so that's our fortress area there. We also want to have, it looks like, graves right there. Let's get some dead saplings in there. It's looking... Oof, this is a tough one. I think this goes here. And I think it's a slightly different version of that. Going to the right. Oh man, it's very hard to tell at that amount of detail. It looks like we have, like if I had to guess, it was something like that. Okay, that's good for now, I think. All right, let's go ahead and get our cave in there. Whew, man, staring at an image and trying to get everything to line up is very stressful. All right, let's go ahead and put this structure over here before I forget. And then let's go ahead and get our little forest built here. All right. And then a couple of mountain ranges to build real quick. Right here. And then I think we want here. Yep. That should be it. Okay. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and get some of our debris up at the top right taken care of. So for that, we're going to want to come up to here. So we're going to put some debris here, some debris here, here. Also, I was wrong. I do still want to have, let's go to the background real quick. I do still want to have one more tile over here to the right. Switch back to the mid-ground, hit save. We're going to switch over to you. You're going to go to here. Right there. And we're going to, while I'm here, I might as well do it. That's where that one's going to go. And then we're going to have, might as well, while I'm down there as well. Right there. And I think that's good. Let's go ahead and switch over to our mountain range, which I believe we want to be here. Okay. And then see, I don't think we need any more mountain ranges, but we might as well get the deep sea thing happening. So we're going to go ahead and put this right here, and then here, and then we need this here, followed by another, and then this, and this. You should go here, you should go here, and you should go there. Alright, there's our deep sea stuff. I painted that on the mid-ground. I guess that's okay, because it is supposed to draw over the water tile, so I'm fine with that being in the mid-ground. All right, but let's stay in the mid-ground, I guess, because we still have a couple of mountains to paint. We actually have one that I missed over here, apparently. Let's move back down over here. So bam, 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 and kabam. Not to be mistaken with the show kabam. Alright, so I want to put you here, here, here. That's not right. There. Here, here, and here. Okay, and then we have a couple of bits of rubble. mountains. Some more rubble there. Nice, nice, nice. And now I think we can switch back to the background. Let's go ahead and hit save. I'm going to paint. Get some top level here. We're going to go ahead and do a corner piece there. We need another corner piece here. Let's do some more top pieces. Top piece with a corner piece right there. Okay, and we need two corner pieces. Alright, so that is the top part of the map. It's about a third of the background done so far. Oh man. Alright, so let's go ahead, just because that's bugging me, I'm going to switch over to the paths and fill the rest of that, that path in. Right there. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the background. Actually, we're going to stay in mid-ground. I'm going to paint our mountain ranges up top. So that is going to be a fun one. So we're going to have cave right there, and then we need, I want to say, this is actually very tricky. I'm guessing that's what we need. And then we're going to need this, followed by this. The curvature here, this is going to get really iffy on my part. Trying to get this right. So I think this is the next part, but I don't think we want to use that version. I think we want to use this version. And then this, this. That is not correct. That is, well, is it? Yes, that is correct. Never mind. False alarm. This, and then we have our southern one, which means I need to switch to the background real quick so I can paint that one square. I was off by one. Boom. Switch back to the mid-ground. Okay, so we just painted you. Next we are going to want to paint that. And then here's where it's going to get more difficult, I think. One of these, I think it's this one. Okay, followed by this, I believe. I think it's going to kind of trend up like that. Phew. Okay. That's the edges of the mountain. Now we get to do the fun stuff. I think we're looking at this for there. Then we need some trees. Then we have an empty version. Then we have a specific design followed by another empty version. I think this is... Okay, so this is where it gets a little difficult. That is not correct. Oh man. It's one of you. I'm guessing it's this one. No, that's almost correct, but it's not quite right. Hmm. This is very difficult. So it needs to have like a. This? No, that is definitely not it. Hmm. Hmm. No, interesting. For the time being, I'm assuming that this is a brown tile entirely. Man, this is a tough one to try and parse properly. Really tough time here. I think this is correct for that. That's correct for that. I need